Okay, so this one is for using a CellProfiler project file on your system. So CellProfiler is an image analysis software that allows you to set up pipelines, sequences, and automated workflows on a large number of images for consistency and reproducibility. It's very powerful software, highly recommended. And so what you can do is you can create a project file and share that 1 MB size file with others, and they can apply it to the data on their local machine. It does unfortunately require that you need to change the inputs and outputs because the file paths will typically be different. So that's what we're going to do on this one today, and we have a scenario set up here where we have a CellProfiler project in not your folder. That's the one that's been created by somebody else. They've made that and used it on their data in this particular experiment with these wells and these channels, and then they've shared that with you. So we'll option drag that into your folder, and now you have a copy. That's the one they've sent you, and you have your data set, which is likely different and would have to follow the same naming convention, of course, or be nearly identical and have the same information, well, channel, etc. So we're going to use this copy, bring that into CellProfiler, and show you how to change the inputs and outputs such that you can run that locally. So we'll open up CellProfiler. Here we go, and get rid of that splash screen on the front and size that so we can see all of it. And what we're going to do is drag the project file onto the left hand side of this CellProfiler window. It's going to say you want to load that, and yep, we do. And it's going to bring it in and show you everything that's been set up previously. And so this left hand side has 4 sections to do with input and metadata, and then it has the pipeline, which can be any combination of things that would have been added by the creator of the project. And it looks to be okay. As you look through it, you don't see any kind of red flags. The images are there, the metadata looks okay, and it's organized these different channels into image groups. And if you were to update it and double check it, it says it's found 2 image sets, so it looks good. If you do an analyze image and just jump in and say, okay, let's go for it, you'll find that it tries, and then it gives you an error because it can't find the file. So we're going to cancel that, and we're going to jump back to the input, and we have to clear all of these. You can see that this is not your folder, so it's looking for data that doesn't exist. And we're going to clear that file list, and it gives you a nice warning just to say that we're not going to delete or modify your files, we're just pulling them out of this project. And then once you've done that, you can come over to the data you do want to use. You can grab one folder, multiple folders, multiple files, however you want to do that part there, and then we'll drop that into the data side of the CellProfiler window there. Right, okay. And so you'll see it's brought in all of the files. Some of the files you're not going to want to analyze the outputs, like the JPEG and PNG and other miscellaneous files that may be in that folder. We're going to hit the apply filters to the list, and then you should see that just the TIFFs for each well are highlighted, so that's good. The next one will be the metadata. This pulls in information from the file name in this case, and you have this first part is for the well number, and the second part is for the channel name with a space in between. And you can Google, ChatGPT, Gemini that to figure out what these regular expressions or regex is what they're doing and how they're applied if you need to update at all. But go ahead and update, and you can see for each file, each one of these is a file down these roads. It's pulled in the well number and the channel, and that's the metadata associated with those files moving forward. And so if we go to names and types, what we're going to do is take the metadata and then create image sets that we can analyze. So if the channel is white, we call it bright field. If it's green, we'll call it dead, and if it's blue, we'll call it nuke. And then hit update, and you can see now for each row in this data set, that's a well, and it's made out of 3 different files for those 3 different channels. And so in this particular pipeline, it's going to count the number of nuclei using this DAPI stain here, and it's going to count the dead cells, and it's got the bright field there as a cross check, and it will create some overlay outlines on top of those next to the files to give you a sanity check. So that's the input part, and we can see that's happy. If this doesn't come up as you would expect, then something's wrong and you can go back and check. I don't use groups. That's something I've typically done, just using multiple folders and running this a few times and separating it out manually, but it does have a lot of power once you get more advanced. And then the output here is in the export to spreadsheet. You can see it's trying to output to not your folder. You need to come in, hit the folder button here, and then let's go up one and make sure we go into your folder and drop it off next to the project. Typically a good idea, but anyway, you want to put that. And once you're done, we're good. We're going to save your copy, the one that's in your folder, and then hit Analyze Images. That will spin up a number of different workers based on how many threads you have and how many images it needs to analyze. And so it'll take a few minutes, depending on what kind of compute you've got. And depending on the number of workers and files you have, you may get a different number of these pop-ups come up. But it will show you some of them there. The eye is selected next to that step in the pipeline. And as I mentioned, it will also save it in the folder to give you a sanity check next to your data, which you should go and look at for completeness. When it's finished, you can click on OK, and so that's done, and you can come back into your folder here, and then you can see the results here in the CSV and quickly open them up. You can see you have dead cell count, nuclear objects, the metadata. If you have files with the same name, you can separate them out here by the experiment folder, and that should be enough to get the basic statistics. And that's it. That's how you open up a project file. I'll do a series of YouTubes on each of the steps inside the project to go over what these are doing and how to adjust them if needed.